We have several events this semester that have been scheduled. One is the Tell a Story for the Record. It's the Warrior Writers will come on March 29th from 10 until 4 o'clock. Several sessions of that in which you're invited to write a story with the help of the Warrior Writers from Boston. We'll have another session, again, writing, and that will be on April 3rd, on a Thursday from 5 to 7. And we'll have a session in which you can turn your writing into a piece of art, spinning it into yarn, and that will be on April 14th. And finally, all of this collection of stories will go towards the development of a theatrical piece that Dr. Suzanne Ramczyk will be writing.
We're doing a part of our Vet Speak project, and it's going to be a day of writing. So there's going to be 3 2-hour time slots that anyone who wants to come that is a veteran can come and just kind of write and share their experience and get it down on paper. This is a great opportunity for veterans to get their story out. It's always been something that veterans have struggled with, being able to talk in public or to tell their stories about what they experienced, what they went through. And this is an opportunity that the school is giving us through the Vet Speak project to do exactly that. It's going to allow us to write our stories down and have them adapted into a theatrical piece
that I could then render somehow artistically into a theater piece, a theatrical piece. Not necessarily a play, so to speak, but a theatrical piece that weaves together the stories of veterans from various wars, turning them into scenes, into monologues, into choral speaking pieces. This will be performed by the laboratory theater class that I will be teaching in the fall. And it'll be open to the public. We will have about 6 different performances, and it's advertised both here at the university and in the surrounding community.
I'm involved in what's called the Veterans History Project through the Library of Congress, and I've been doing it for about 1.5 years and have done DVDs of approximately 17 different veterans from different wars, from World War II to Korea to Vietnam and Iraq and Afghanistan. And the goal of this whole project is to preserve the oral history of our veterans. I start out and tell them I'm going to ask you a little bit about your background, your family, what made you go into the service. And if there's sometimes they'll say a different member of the family might, like, you know, my dad was in the Air Force, I joined the Marines, and I would, you know, say something along the lines of, well, what made you choose the Marines versus the Air Force, seeing your dad was in the Air Force, those kinds of things. Anyone else in your family been in the service? And then ask them what, I'll often ask them about the bonds that they maybe developed in the service, and were and are those bonds different than civilian bonds? How did they communicate with home, if they communicated with home? I asked them what was it like to come back, their reintegration into society, you know, into the civilian society after being, or if they're still actually active in terms of in the Guard or reservists, and what's that like to come back after you've been deployed, and lessons that they maybe learned that have helped them, depending on the age of the person I'm interviewing, lifelong. How has that helped them along for the rest of their life? And when the recording is done, they're not prompted to tell war stories or about combat. It's up to them what they would like to say about their experiences overseas. Many of them will talk about things that have happened, from the Battle of the Bulge to invading in Normandy to what's gone on, you know, in Iraq or Afghanistan, but that is completely up to the veteran to basically share and divulge what they feel comfortable divulging and sharing. Every veteran, and I'm just using the word veteran to cover National Guard, reservists, active military, everyone who has contributed an interview to date has found it helpful to them to tell their story, and didn't expect that when they were starting, but after doing it found that it was a a helpful experience for them. A DVD goes to the Library of Congress so that their great-great-great-grandchildren, it's there for history, for people to see, for when our veterans are long gone. And our library at Maxwell, our Maxwell Library, has also graciously agreed to start a holding of these same DVDs here. And the goal at Bridgewater is we have many students who are returning from Iraq, Afghanistan, some from Africa and other places, and they may not be really concerned with this history at this point in their life. They're coming back, reintegrating into society, busy with home, family, school, and this is probably the last thing they're thinking of. And we really don't want to wait until they're at the age of our older veterans who really realize at this point in their life that this is important. So if we can get them to realize this is a wonderful history that they can provide, and we don't want to lose it.
As veterans, we all have a story to tell. You know, some are peaceful, some are not. We've all been places, we've all done things. And I think one of the important things about reintegration back into civilian life is being able to talk about it if we want to. There's a lot of stigmatisms around veterans. There's a lot of lack of knowledge about what we've done, where we've been, who we are. So being able to come and write about it and put those words down and then have the Vet Speak project turn those into a theatrical production that will be performed on campus, and it'll just bring awareness to the community about the veterans on campus.